Hello, everyone, and welcome to Metro TV. I'm your host, Andy Hoig, publisher, CEO of Metro Magazine. Great show today, continuing to talk to nonprofits around the Omaha Metro Council Bluffs area. And we'll be talking to Centro Latino of Iowa today. We'll also be talking to Business Ethics Alliance about their Ethics Space Conference. And lastly, the Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals here in Omaha about what they're doing in the community and also their upcoming walk. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, hello, everybody. I am here with John C. Glenn. He is the Vice President of Development for Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals, the Omaha campus. John, it's good to see you again. It's been about a year.
It has been about a year, Andy. It's been an eventful year for both of us, for our community, for our nation, and indeed the world. So I'm glad we're all still moving and doing good work. How's that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And again, yes, your organization does beautiful work and such important work. So I just want to start off the conversation and telling us about who do you serve? And this is particular, I mean, it's like specific to the Omaha campus, correct?
You bet. Madonna's Rehabilitation Hospitals has a Lincoln campus and an Omaha campus now. And the Omaha campus has been up and running. It'll be 4 years, October 4th, I believe. And Madonna is where you go when you leave the trauma hospitals. We're a post-acute care hospital. And it's a rehabilitation hospital. It's one of the best in the country. We serve the nation's top 2% most medically complex cases. And what does that mean? So we serve folks with brain trauma, spinal cord injury, stroke, cancer, neurological diseases, and severe pulmonary conditions. So really, it's the sick of the sick. We're trying to rebuild people's lives so they can go back home to their communities, go back home to their families, and enjoy their life and rebuild that life, as I said a second ago.
I've taken a tour. I've been there a couple different times, but the facility, the rehabilitation hospital here in Omaha, I mean, it's just amazing. And the technology and everything you have for the patients and the people needing to call home, it does really feel like home as well in that facility. So I know that's important.
It is important because the average length of stay is 30.1 days, but that includes our outpatient numbers. If you take the outpatient numbers away from the equation, patients can be here 3, 6, 9 months. Yeah. So the worst it should look is collegial. The best it should look like is home. We don't have white linoleum floors and we don't have those squeaky shoes. It's got to look a little bit like home because you're here for so long and the patients work incredibly hard to make the gains that enable them to go home. So it's a full-time job for these patients. And I would guess to say that they probably work harder than any Husker offensive lineman ever has to be able to move your hand, to move your shoulder, take a step. And those steps lead to more steps, which eventually, hopefully, lead home.
Yeah, and I would absolutely agree with that analogy. I just want to talk, because you've got a walk coming up again, Miles for Madonna, but I just want to talk briefly about COVID-19. How has that impacted you? I mean, that just kind of came in here full force mid-March, that really kind of started to shut things down. But how did that impact your organization?
It affected all of healthcare, and specifically the way it affected Madonna, as we're part of, the Nebraska healthcare systems. All the hospitals in eastern Nebraska really work together to try and find out what is this disease, how is it spread, how can we assist in both the acute care side and the rehabilitation side. And many of our hospital partners asked us to create a post-COVID unit so that we could help the patients that were past the infection part of the disease, but the disease ravaged their bodies, whether it's their lungs or the rest of their muscle or their organs. So we created a post-COVID unit to house patients that had tested negative 3 times in 48 hours to help them rebuild their lives. We all know that COVID really attacks the lungs, but it also really weakened the organs in the body. So you could look at folks who are, in the ICU unit 30 to 60 days. When they come to Madonna, their body has been ravaged and hasn't been used. So we're in the process of working with those patients and helping them go home, back to their families once the disease has left their body.
Sure. Again, really important work. And as we move into talking about the event coming up, Miles for Madonna, that is helping, first of all, bring awareness, raising funds. And it's also fun. You've got to bring some of that fun into what's happening in anybody's life. Is this a virtual event?
It is a virtual event.
Okay.
Being a hospital system, we're all about social distancing. I could get my mask for you, but I don't think it'll help with a Zoom. So
Nope.
we really want to protect our patients, and many former patients come back to do the run and the walk. We want to protect our friends and our donors, so we made it virtual this year, and it's a unique format. The actual race day is October 3rd. I should say race day.
Sure.
But we actually opened it up for donors to register now, and they can walk anytime between September 21st and October 3rd. There's a 5K and a 1 mile walk. You can do it in your treadmill. You can do it with your sister or your mom and dad if you're all in the same family unit. You can even sleep in. You don't have to come that morning. But we want people to really use this wonderful time of year. Fall is my favorite time of year. Great colors, cool nights. I went for a walk last night at 10 o'clock, and it was in the upper 50s, and it was wonderful outside. So we want people to be able to enjoy the outdoors, get a walk in, get some exercise, keep our bodies healthy, but also to help Madonna raise funds for world-class rehabilitation. It's in our backyard. It's an amazing organization. The mission and vision is world-class rehab. In Omaha, we have world-class transplant. We have world-class cancer with the Buffett Cancer Center. Now we have world-class rehabilitation. And we're proud of what we do, but we want people to have fun doing it, because these patients are busting their buns here to go home. We want to give them a little extra lift on that journey.
And I've seen it. I've witnessed what they do, and it's amazing. Now, here's the great news: is I'm actually going to be in Colorado from October 2nd for a few days. So I actually will be doing this, probably doing a walk around Lake Estes in Estes Park, Colorado. So I'm going to get registered. I'm going to get registered today, because, like you said, the 21st, which was several days ago, through the 3rd. So still time to register, support, raise funds, and bring awareness.
Yeah, and I'll be very jealous if you're at Lake Estes, walking around Lake Estes on October 3rd. Think of me and look up at the beautiful peaks in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
I'll be in the flatlands in my neighborhood walking Saturday morning again, trying to raise the funds.
Yeah.
Should I tell folks where to go as far as?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. If you want to register, and this is the day of websites, so it's madonna.org/miles for the word for FOR Madonna 2020. So madonna.org/miles for Madonna 2020. You can go there and sign up. I think as of this morning, we had close to 150 walkers and runners register for it. So for a fun run and walk, people are really getting behind us and trying to enjoy this great weather.
Yeah. And I know last year when I did it, you can dress up. You can wear, your colors are purple, so wear a purple tutu or a purple wig or a purple hat or don't wear purple. But it's just, it's a great, and I know that that's coming across the bottom of the screen as well for people to register. So, John, thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward maybe, in the next couple months or right after the first of the year, having another conversation to kind of talk more about the facility and kind of see where things are at. And then also how people can help, can continue to support your organization and the mission and everything that you're doing for so many that need help. Yeah.
They do need help, and it's a 365-day operation. And I want to thank you, Andy, for the chance to talk to you and your audience. The more people that know who we are and who we serve, the better. Can I give a shout out to our sponsors? Is that permissible?
Go for it.
How about Shields and Cox Business, Hy-Vee, Omaha Media Group, Mobility Motoring, Cunningham's, Pitch, and Regal, all corporate sponsors. And I want to say the shout out to them because in this time of a pandemic, these businesses, have really stepped up to help us get the job done. And without them stepping up and our runners and walkers stepping, this wouldn't be possible. So Andy, thank you for all your help.
You're welcome, John. It's good to see you via Zoom. I hope to see you soon in person, but I will be thinking about you on October 3rd.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
And folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be here with Ramon Calzada. He is the Executive Director for the Centro Latino of Iowa. Ramon, thank you so much for joining me today. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
I just want to talk to you a little bit about Centro Latino, just of Iowa. And first of all, who do you serve? Let's just start. That's a great place to start. So.
We serve the Latino community, especially the Latino immigrant community that comes to Southwest Iowa. And we provide different services like family support, civic engagement, immigration legal services. And also we have a lot of things that have to do with referrals, referring them to the right organization that have their needs.
Because we had a conversation, I mean, it was literally like almost a year ago when we had a conversation, and just able to learn I mean, your organization does such important work and helps so many people. So we're going to wrap back around to that. But let's just talk for a minute about COVID-19, because that's impacted everybody, all nonprofits. But I want to talk specifically to your organization and how, what came up. I mean, and what are you still dealing with? But let's just talk about the first.
Well, I think we were very much impacted by COVID-19, especially in the Latino community, because a lot of them work at the meatpacking industry, or they work at the farm workers, or they work construction. So there's not a lot of social distancing in their kind of work, and they work long days, long hours. So then we had the impact when they lost their jobs. So thank God at Centro Latino, we started a new fund for family assistance, especially for rent utilities. And we got funds from many foundations in Council Bluffs and Omaha to help the Latino immigrant, especially the ones that were struggling during this time.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, a lot of the people that you serve, social distancing, honestly, really isn't even possible. I mean, otherwise
it doesn't work in our culture. We love to hug, we love to kiss, we love to be in big groups with family settings. So we had to do a lot of promoting about not having big parties, a lot of celebrations during that time when we had the lockdown, and also be aware of the health, issue and the public health issue.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of the families and the celebrations and the hugging and the kissing, that really, I mean, that's just truly the community and the connection. Let's talk about the Iowa Latino Festival, which it kind of brings all that together. And you had to pivot. You had to do something a little different this year. So
I know that's our big event every year, where we gather the whole community, the Latino community and the community at large, to celebrate the Latino heritage here in Southwest Iowa. And we usually have it at the downtown plaza, Vélez Park. But because of COVID and again, social distancing, not having big events, so we decided to go virtual, and we found a platform that can
Okay.
provide that.
Well, I
very
want to hear
interesting.
I want to hear all about it because, tell us about the platform and what you're doing and how that's different this
Well,
year.
as you know, a lot of events are being canceled because of COVID, and everybody's trying to find some way to have an event. So I see a lot of them, they're using Facebook Live or little things like that. This one in particular met our needs because it has two platforms going on at the same time. It has the event going on, it's going to be from noon to 8, and every hour is going to be a different activity. So
On
that's
on
live
what
going
date?
on.
What's the
And
date?
then it also has a marketplace.
Okay.
So that's on October 11th
Okay.
from noon to 8.
So both events are happening simultaneously?
Simultaneously. So you have, not every hour it's going to be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, every hour. It's like a show, the kids dancing again. So that's going to be filmed live, and then at the end, it's going to be like a meal at a restaurant like this, a lot of people, not so many people, just having the music and the background to give the ambiance. And then we're going to finish with a movie, streaming a movie. We're doing a screening. It's called In Other Words, and that's from a local kid from Council Bluffs, who's the lead actor in that movie. So we're going to finish the festival that way.
Wow, what a great way to end the festival.
Yeah.
Exciting. So people, they can register? I mean, are people buying tickets? I mean, how does that work?
So we have in our website, we're going to have the link for the platform. It's owned by Event Hub. And then it's Event Hub, Iowa Latino Festival. It's called Iowa Latino Festival. And then over there, it has how people register to it, the sponsors, how they register, the booth, how they register, and they have all the instruction. Imagine, the trade shows, when they have those conferences, when you had to order the booth and you had to order the cable and you had to order the chair and all these things. You had to click here, click there. Kind of the same concept.
Okay.
But now it's going to be done virtually. So it's very neat.
I mean, again, congratulations to you and your team and everybody involved in the festival for really saying, okay, we're not going to cancel this. We're going to look at a way to bring this. We're going to do this, but we're going to do it virtually. And that to me is just so important and says so much about everybody involved in this festival. So
it's to keep the spirit alive, even though we're not together physically, but at least we can see each other virtually.
So in the last just like 30, 45 seconds, just what can people do in addition, I mean, the festival, but what can people do to support your organization, specifically Centro Latino?
Oh, right now we're just looking for, volunteers that want to help, especially with us helping the families, the new families that come in. We have a lot of family advocates that come and join us and help them through the process and how to become Americans and being part of America, new Iowans. And then we have other programs where we have community navigators that will also help the people navigate individually different things with the resources. And then the other volunteers are community advocates. The ones that want to speak for them, like now we happen with the pandemic, pro the people that work at the meat packing company to support them. These are essential workers. All the more support you can give to them that they work so long, so many days.
Absolutely. Well, Ramon, thank you so much for joining me today. You're at this wonderful Mexican restaurant having lunch over in Council Bluffs, and I'm going to make sure that I sign up and I'm viewing the festival, and we'll kind of report after the fact. But again, thank you for everything that you and your organization does for both the Omaha, Council Bluffs, Omaha community. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a great day. And happy Hispanic National Month.
Yes, yes. All right. We'll talk to you soon. And
bye-bye.
And folks, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Eve McLean. She's the Director of Education for the Business Ethics Alliance. Eve, it's good to see you again because this is
Thank you.
time.
Yes, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, you got this amazing event coming up, Ethics Space Conference. Business Ethics Alliance puts it on. Let's just briefly tell me about Business Ethics Alliance.
Okay, absolutely. We're a 501c3 here in Omaha, Nebraska. Our mission is to build leadership, to strengthen organizations, and to elevate the greater Omaha area through practical, positive business ethics education. And one of the things we do to do that is our annual conference.
And this is the second annual, correct?
It is. And we have COVID this year, so it gets to look a little different.
Yep.
But this is the second time around.
So with that being said, this is a virtual event, Ethics Space Conference. But you've got some really great speakers. You're doing some great things. I think more people can actually join you. So let's just, I'll let you take it away and talk about the conference.
Absolutely. That's great. And yes, you're right. We are virtual this year. So we started out at the beginning of the year trying to figure out what we wanted to do for a theme. And we decided that we wanted to do moral courage. So having moral courage in the face of ethical adversity. And we thought, okay, that's a great one. And then the rest of 2020 hit, and we got hit with COVID, and we got hit with racial tensions and all the pressures that people have. And we thought, oh my gosh, this theme is exactly what we need right now, ethics under pressure. But we knew we had to take it a little different. So we couldn't bring everybody together because we didn't feel like that was the right thing to do at this moment. So we decided to go with virtual. So that second event is going to be a virtual event, but we've got a fun lineup of speakers to really get ourselves thinking and to get ourselves into the ethics space. So this year we've got Second City, and they're going to come to us with a little improv and help us to have some of these tough conversations. If you look at what moral courage is, it's being able to stand up when things are hard, taking a principle and standing on that principle, even if it's unpopular or has some level of pushback, and actually persevering through that. So that means we need to actually be able to articulate why we're taking this stance, and those can be some tough conversations.
Right.
They can be uncomfortable.
And let me ask you, so with Second City, because obviously Second City is a comedy, a comedy group, a comedy, entity. I'm thinking that they're going to be taking these serious issues and putting just a little comedy,
a little levity,
to where it makes sense, but because ethics can be a heavy subject.
Yes, you're exactly right. So ethics can be a heavy subject. Standing for your principles is a heavy subject. But to be honest, the skill set we need to be able to think quickly, react, respond to the person in front of us can come to us from a lighter place, which is that levity that we can get from Second City. So learning those skills in a way that's kind of fun and comfortable, we can turn around and apply those in situations that might be heavier or more serious. So it's a great way to get the skill set.
And so who's another speaker going to be involved?
Yep. So we have Mr. Don Eccles. So Don Eccles from Omaha, everybody knows of him. He is the co-founder of Scooters Coffee. And through his career, he has done tremendous things at building a company from the ground up. And he has had lots of experience with ethics and moral courage. And that company is very strongly based on their values. So he has some great insights to actually show us what this is going to look like in practicality. So how does moral courage look when you're actually in a work situation? And those are the stories we'll get from him.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be amazing. And again, this is like, we've talked about virtual. So are there breakout sessions as well? Or how does this work? Yeah.
Yep. So we do have breakout sessions, so we can take people into different rooms. There's going to be one that focuses a little bit more. It's actually from us, from the Alliance, which is mustering moral courage. And we'll focus on some tips and techniques to actually get that moral courage engine and skill working. We'll have one that looks at moral courage when you're trying to work beyond the rules and regulations. So what happens beyond rules and regulations? What's that gray spot of ethics? And how do we stand up in that spot? And last but not least, least one that we know a lot about from Moral Courage is whistleblowing. And so we've got a breakout session that really tells a story of a whistleblower.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got one more speaker after the breakout sessions. So we've got one more. We've got Dr. Jill Brown, as she is a professor at Bentley School of Ethics, and she's fantastic. She's going to tell us a little bit how ethics and moral courage can get you to the C-suite and how it can help you stay there.
Yeah. I am so excited for this event coming up on the 13th, on Tuesday, October 13th.
Yes.
There's a lot of information on your website.
Yes.
I'm going to give Metro Magazine, Midlands Business Journal, proud to be media sponsors for this event. But let's talk about tickets and where people can go to get tickets for this event.
Yep, absolutely. So obviously you can get to them through our website at thebusinessethics.org, but we have a special website that we've set up called ethicspace.org. That will take you directly to EthicsSpace. That's going to talk to you about the tickets. The tickets are $100 unless you want to buy group seating. So a group batch of tickets. Also, we qualify for continuing education credit. So we have continuing education credit for lawyers, and we have continuing education credit for CPAs. So those are available for those that need to get those ethics credits in before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's great information. Eve, thank you for joining me. I can't wait for this event. I think it's going to be awesome. And again, it's so important. I mean, at this time, in the world and in business, I mean, it's such an important topic to be talking about in all different ways. So thank you so much for joining me today. And again, really looking forward to being there on October 13th, virtually.
Thank you so much. We'll have a seat for you.
Wonderful. All right, Eve, have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this week on Metro TV. Be sure to like our Facebook page, Metro Magazine, all one word. Go to our website, spiritofomaha.com, for more information about nonprofits, COVID-19, how they're being impacted by the pandemic. Also, look for our latest issue online as well, spiritofomaha.com. And I will see you back here next week.